good reasons for supporting Israel. Genesis 12, verse 3.
You was going to say that?
Very well known verse.
Yeah. You bless those
God
who
says,
bless
I
you.
bless those who bless you.
Kiss him.
But I'll curse those who curse you.
Yeah.
That's a sad state of affairs to be in that second part, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the other verse I've got, which Paul reminds the believers in Rome, Romans 15. If I can find it. And verse 25. Now, at that time, there was a famine in Israel. And Paul is going on his way back to Jerusalem to take a monetary gift from the people of Macedonia. He said, now I'm going to Jerusalem to minister to the saints. For it pleased those from Macedonia and Achaia to make a certain contribution for the poor among the saints in Jerusalem.
The first? 25.
25, 26 and 27. It pleased them indeed, and they are their debtors. For if the Gentiles have been partakers of their spiritual things, their duty is to minister to them in the material things.
Amen.
What are the major things we got from Israel?
Yeah.
Here's one.
Yeah.
We've got a saviour from Israel. We've got a hope and a future through the people of Israel. And that's why I do what I do. The Lord called me in the year 2004 in the summer. Earlier that year, my wife and I were talking about what am I going to do when I retire in 6 months' time. Was it going to be this? No, that fell through. Was it going to be that? That fell through. We went to Israel with a group from King's Church, and we were sitting right up in the shores of Galilee, having communion, and the leader said, afterwards we're going to be here for a while, you can pray, got a word for somebody or whatever, we'll be here for another hour or so. Somebody came up and said, I've got a word for you, John, to work for the Jewish people in Cardiff. Next day, it was confirmed by another person on the group, you're to work for the Jewish people in Newport. And ever since then, I've been working for the Jewish people, one way or another, through connections in Cardiff, taking stuff to Israel, getting aid ready to go and all sorts of things. Now, as you heard on there, I started doing this in a small way in 2010. Just saving them up and taking them out. But since then we found out quite a bit more. Out of those Holocaust survivors, they reckon about 20 to 24 of them pass away every week because of being elderly and sick and such. Now these here, this one in Tesco's is about 69p. In Israel that would be £6. That one would be about £6 in Israel. And that's about £1.30, £1.40 here. These, 18 to 20p in Britain, £2.50 in Israel, a box that size. Now when you're not getting enough money coming in, you've got to balance up. I need food, I need something else, I can't afford it. So ever since, this is what we've been doing. When I left Ebenezer last December, November, December, this work suddenly took off. I've had openings to go to North London to meet up with another group of Jewish people. And we went to meet a Jewish Lord in the House of Lords. When we went to Israel, we got invited to a special do for the ambulance people. All sorts of things have happened this year. We get people ringing up, like I did 2 weeks ago for a lady from Northern Ireland. A friend in her church had told her about what we're doing. She sent us a donation. And that lady, her friend, was told by her sister in England. I've never met them. But this is what the Lord's doing. I never know what's going to come through the post any day. But there's this group in North London that I get addresses and things for the Jewish community sent to me, and I contacted the Jewish Chronicle end of last year. Out of the blue. Now, for those of you who've been to Israel, you've seen the ambulances there with MDA on them, the Star of David. Well, they said, could you come up and meet us? So we spent a day with them in North London. And the literature's on there. And the Jewish people are now looking for people like us to help them. They're realising now who their friends are. It's people like us that have seen the truth from the scriptures, that we love them. Not for any gain, not to be missionaries, but we just love them as people. So we went to see this, the Magen David Adom, that's what it's called. And they set up a bursary here in Manchester to start off with. Because you ring an ambulance in Israel, how much does it cost you here to ring an ambulance? Nothing. £150
Is it really?
Wow.
in Israel.
Just to ring?
£150 to ring an ambulance.
For them to take you to
To
hospital.
take you to hospital. Now, if you come back the same day, you've got to pay it. If you stay in hospital, your insurance people will pay it at some other time, you know. But that's the sort of thing they've got to put up with there. And these elderly folks are very wary of ringing an ambulance. So they set a bursary up. And the literature's there. If you want to help them, please do. So as time went by, we told them we were going to Israel in March. Oh, we got a big do at the Central Ambulance Station. You're invited. It was really amazing. We found it. They were dedicating 3 ambulances paid for by people in Great Britain and a medical bike, motorbike. The ambulance cost £50,000 a piece. That was paid for by people in Great Britain. So they said afterwards there's going to be tea and coffee and everything, so we go in there. Next thing we know, we're in the boardroom upstairs. It was amazing. Like, the Manchester who started it, this follow-up work of it, he wanted us to be in a committee, and we said no, we don't want to be in a committee. It gets too bogged down and stuff, you know. But we said we would support them by letting people know about the work. And the amazing thing was, this elderly gentleman was talking about the Jews and the Christians being one. Do you know, I thought he was reading from the book of Ephesians. It was so enlightening that he got it. And a lot of us Christians here haven't. But he was saying about us being one, working together as one body for the people of Israel. And earlier we were talking to his wife, and he and his wife had been to Nancy's farm a couple of years ago.
That's when I first knew about it.
Yeah. So, and then different things happen from there that people write back to me. You know, I contact them, say, look, we can do it, help you with this. We've got friends in the Jewish community helping us in Cardiff, Christians all around South East Wales and further. And I heard a couple of months ago that the UK ambassador to Israel is Jewish. And he and his wife opened 4 centres for Holocaust survivors in Israel last year. I found out the places where they were, but I couldn't find the centres. I just made a list of the towns or the districts they were in and left it. About 3 weeks ago, I picked the paper up again. I thought, I'll try and find these places. And I found some different people working in these areas, but some of them didn't. One hasn't answered. One said no, thank you very much. Another one, the cat, which is helping to feed the people, by gathering up all the waste, all the food that's going to be chucked out from shops or not harvested in fields, and they make it into decent meals for the poor. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me, and their leaflets are there. Now another work we know of in Israel got back to me. It's called Nir Panim, and they run kitchens all over the country. Well, we've had dealings with them a couple of years ago. The Lord gave us an opportunity to witness to an American Jewish girl. Now their main office there is in Jerusalem, near the main bus station. And we went there one day and we had a donation for them. And they said, oh, you can have a free meal. We said, no, we don't want a free meal. We'll pay. We've got the money, we'll pay. And they sent the American girl out, Jewish girl out, with this receipt for the money. And she sat and talked to us, said, I've been reading my Bible. So we encouraged her to keep reading it. You know, it's just little things like that. They want us to help them now. So it's grown from just helping one place. We're now helping 7, 2 children's works and 5 Holocaust centres, survivor centres. The one that we've been helping most of all, right from 2010, you wouldn't find it on the street because it's underground. It's an old bomb shelter, all done out. And what the lady is trying to do there is get them together. There's 120 of them meet there. And what they do, they try and get them together because a lot of them are on their own. No families, the husband or wife has died or whatever. And they come in for a meal and they celebrate their birthdays. And the lady that's running it, she actually was in the ghettos. She told us her story last time we went. She was there from the age of 1 to the age of 4 in Romania. She was in the ghettos. So she knew what it was like. There's another one on the other side of Jerusalem we started to help last year. And most of them there are believers.
Oh, wonderful.
And they're doing a lot of clothing work there as well. And then our contact from the beginning, a friend called Al, he's a lovely Jewish Christian, and he brought a friend of his along called Alexander, and he's in charge of a work looking after 50,000 Holocaust survivors across Israel. So it's little things like that are happening. Then our church works with a group called Shevet Akim, which is getting the Arab babies in from Gaza, Kurdistan, and some coming across from Syria now, and major heart and lung operations. We're helping them with children's vitamins. Then I found another work recently and got in touch with called Shalva, and they are looking after disabled children from babies up to about 20. We're now supplying them with children's vitamins. Things like that, you know, it's making such a difference. Because we pay for everything here in Britain. We don't charge them a penny. It comes with our love. My part of the work, I do the running around. And what I do is, I found a source where I can buy cardboard boxes a lot cheaper than I can get them in the Staples shop. Do it online, a lot cheaper. And we post them out, 2 kilos maximum is all the post office will take. And we send it surface mail because it's cheaper. So it's really great. You know, I took 8 boxes round the post office last week. You know, they flood them out, their little post office. But this year we've done something like 60, 65 kilos already with what we take out, and we take 10 kilos at a time in the suitcase when we go. And we met different ones. You know, the Reform Synagogue in Cardiff have been helping us, and through that we've made friends with a Jewish couple on our estate. And last year, when we were there in October, our lady contact in Cardiff for the Reform Synagogue, her daughter lives in Israel, and she was there this March rather, sorry, at the same time, and we took her down to the shelter, and she saw for herself where all their vitamins were going, where their money was going. So it's been really great, you know. And then we met another Dutch Christian couple that run a centre a little further out in Jerusalem. Lovely born again people. And we've been helping them. So, you know, it's just little things here, little bits there, and it's just beginning to spread out.
Enlarge your tent.
God is working.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it just suddenly took off after, as soon as I
Yeah.
finished with Ebenezer, it just took off, literally.
Yeah.
Money came in, and different things happened, getting different contacts. You know, and it's been, that's why we went to the House of Lords to meet Lord Channer.
Yeah.
That's right.
How's the Lord?
Yeah, we had spent a couple of
You
hours there.
said you
with him.
put the little people up with the big people.
Yeah. House of
I
Lords.
know,
Yeah, we had a cup of tea.
He even paid for it, didn't he? Cup of tea and
Yeah, he paid
biscuits.
a cup of tea and biscuits. And yes, alone.
I'm going up with the princess. What are you on about?
But God is open, it's opened the doors.
Amazing how we go.
But it's teaching me something, to be patient.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got to learn
I'm the
that.
sort of person that when you start something, I want to get on with it, you know, I want to get going, I want to get to the end before I
Yeah,
got to the
yeah.
middle, like, you know. But it's been an adventure this last couple of years, one way and another. So, God willing, we'll be going back to Israel next year, we'll take another load.
Oh, praise the
So, where it's going to take us, now if this Mir Panim one really takes off, I'm not quite sure how many kitchens they've got, but I know they've got them in every
Yeah.
town. And they're feeding all sorts of people, children, Holocaust survivors, families, and it's really amazing. Now, I've got a few of the photographs here. So, let's start. That's some of the load from last year. So, that's the centre in Jerusalem that we go to, the one we've been helping the most. What the lady does there, she showed us last year, she gets little plastic bags and she put, say, a pack of vitamin C, a paracetamol and multivitamins, and give it to them as a birthday present.
Oh.
So, you can have a look at these afterwards, so you just see them quickly now. Yeah, these are some of the people that we've been helping. That's not a very good picture. I've been told by my friend that this gentleman here and his wife, they're believers. I can tell you that, but I couldn't tell the Jewish people that because they'd be ostracised.
Yeah.
But these are some of the families that we're helping. There's another man that we're helping, an elderly gentleman. He didn't realise that people cared. And there's another one again. So, yeah. And this is Alexander. I think that's a bit better picture there. And the lady next to him is our contact from Cardiff. We were in the Christchurch coffee shop.
Yeah.
And he's the gentleman that looks after 50,000 of them across Israel.
Oh, do you look after 50,000?
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah, different people
Yeah.
looking at
And he's
Yeah,
he's
you've got
78,
different people
or was then,
looking out for
in
him.
March, yeah.
But he's in contact with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's our friend Marion again. This is my friend, our friend Albert. Yeah.
The place where he came from, it was the first place
Under
that was
Hitler,
said to
it's
be
free of Jews, Juden free.
free.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
came
in
from,
Latvia,
that's where
wasn't
his
it?
family came from,
Latvia.
Latvia. Yeah.
Are any of these people in Ukraine and Latvia trying to get out there and go back to Israel?
If they got the right papers, they can. And that was what I was doing, helping with
Ukraine.
when we went to Ukraine. The team leader could teach them about the paperwork, but we were reminding them that God hasn't forgotten them. God still loves them.
The thing that's been touching my heart lately is about the Ethiopian Jews
Yeah.
wanting to come home, you know. And
There's a lot of
they
them there in
need-
Israel.
They need the finance, they
Yeah.
get the plane.
There's a
We
lady
need
ship.
an absorption centre
Oh.
for Ethiopian Jews,
Oh,
yeah.
breaks my
Guess who
heart.
that is?
Guess who that is?
It's me and
You.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that looks a bit like that.
Looks like this. It's from the
Now this is the photographs of the children
Mm.
that are disabled one way and another.
Yeah.
There's some lovely pictures we got here of them. There's a little girl there. So we just started helping them now. When you send the box out by sea, it takes about 56 days, but and that's the cheapest way of doing it. If it goes air mail, it's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
If it goes parcel force, the price goes up tremendous. There's another little child there, look. And some of them are Down syndrome, deaf, blind, all sorts.
But he packs it all in the suitcase and
You
then
use a
goes throws it
private
in the
courier, do
plane.
you, to send this off?
No, ordinary post. That's my
Surely,
favourite.
I'm sure you could get some sort of thing with passport or Royal Mail to be able to send these parcels cheaper than you would be by.
The Royal Mail will only take a 2 kilo box. The parcel force won't. They will charge you. I checked it up.
You've
A small
tried it,
box will
haven't
be about £100. I know it'll be there in a week.
But
That's
this
one-
way, there's continuous, isn't it? There's
yeah,
something
I do
going
it
out all
about
the
trying
time,
to do it
so
once a
they're
month if I
receiving
can,
them,
so
yeah.
there's a continual
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
I was thinking, like more like a contract thing with the post office, to be able to send, you might get it cheaper.
that costs a lot of money, I should dare say,
Yeah.
but
We'll just open up, you know.
there's money I haven't got.
Yeah.
No,
I
but
think that's my favourite picture of the handicapped children. Got a lovely little face there. And there's another one come. There's an, so you can have a look at these later and when we finished it. But it's just something that God has put on my heart, especially for the Holocaust survivors. I remember working in central London, and I was a junior booking clerk on the railway, and somebody showed me a paperback book in the 50s, mid-50s. I'd be about 16, and it had all these pictures of the death camps. I've never forgotten that. Never forgotten it.
And of course
And
we
they've
went to
seen-
Poland as well, didn't we?
Sorry? Yeah, we went to
Auschwitz,
Auschwitz.
yeah.
And if anyone ever tells you it never happened,
Yeah.
they're
no, it's a
lying.
lie.
Yeah.
Why,
I've
well,
been
What's
there.
a lie?
My wife's been there.
Yeah.
and I believe the stories that birds don't sing.
Yeah.
That's true, you don't, it's so
I've read
quiet.
that.
It's
I
so
believe
quiet.
it.
Yeah, I read it.
There must be a
But
terrible
you're saying
um,
about that,
yeah,
they're
atmosphere on
taking
that
young
ground, you know.
children over there now
Yeah.
from the schools,
Yeah.
so they can't say it never
No,
happened.
they're taking
because the
Jewish
young-
people over
yeah,
there as well.
The kids know it's true because they're going
No,
into
yeah.
themselves and seeing it. And that,
But it's
so-
just, it was strange really when it started 3 years ago. I just saw that news clip on the internet that they had that need.
Yeah.
And that's where it started. It's just
Yeah.
a simple thing, email, what is your greatest need? We know that all the Jewish people need the Lord as well.
Welcome to Father's House. My name's Michael Fryer, and visiting us today is John Harold, all the way from Newport in South Wales. John, welcome to Father's House.
Right, thank you.
A long journey?
No, not bad, on the train.
Good, good. And I know you're used to travelling anyway,
Yeah.
John, because you used to be a lorry driver, and
Yeah.
and you travelled and worked in the Ukraine for the Lord and pursued a ministry amongst the
Yeah.
Jewish people there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm the local representative in South Wales for Ebenezer Operation
Right.
Exodus, and our ministry is to help the Jewish people by reminding them of their biblical roots and helping them to be able to go to the Israeli embassies and consulates with their papers to get them checked to see if they're available and able to go home back to Israel. And I spent 2 periods of 3 months out there, 2007, 2008, with a team of people going around the villages looking for the Jewish people.
Right. Quite interesting work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Ebenezer do work all over the world, don't
Yeah.
they? And but you particularly went to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
You told me earlier that you'd met Holocaust survivors in the Ukraine. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
On almost the very last day of my first trip, we actually went to a house of a Holocaust survivor, and he showed us the number. It was tattooed on the back of his arm. It's the first time I'd ever seen that, and I always remember it was 12, 24, 36, and it's still there on his arm. And that guy was up in his 90s then.
Okay. And what sort of lifestyle are they living in?
Most of them were out in the villages, and once you get out of the big cities in Ukraine, they're very poor. It's like going back to what Great Britain was 70 years ago.
Right.
And you'll always know in the village if they got a gas supply, because their pipes are above ground on stanchions. But a lot of the places we went to, the water supplies were actually just being put in.
Okay.
There was wells in the garden, and the toilets were a hole in the ground in a shed in the garden.
Okay. So a really poor quality of life.
Very poor quality of life.
And that quality of life is what focused your mind on how to help them, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, I can always remember on the first trip we went to one family, and through our interpreter, the team leader and all of us were talking to a gentleman in his garden. And his wife came out, and she was hobbling on 2 walking sticks. And as the conversation went on, we found out that the only money she had was a disability benefit. The guy looked about 80. He was only 55. He was younger than me. And the only other support they had was from a son who came once a month, usually with a basket of food or some money for them to survive.
Okay.
And I've never forgotten that, because my friend that was with me, we looked at each other. I don't know how much we gave them, but being volunteers, we could spend our money as we liked. And we just gave them a wad of money to help them.
Right. Bless you.
And then on the second trip I did, another friend came with me, and we went to a place called Hesed in the state of Kherson. Now, Hesed is a Jewish organisation helping Jewish people in the community. And the leader there, through the interpreter, told us that there was a lady way out in the woods somewhere, wanted coal for the winter, £240 a tonne.
Wow.
That was 4 years ago, and logs were the same price.
Right.
So my friend and I, we paid for half a tonne of coal for
Right,
it.
okay. But now that sort of love for the Jewish people and love for Israel has led you into helping Holocaust survivors in Israel
Yeah.
itself now. So
Yeah.
tell me, John, what sort of work you do and how you do that.
Well, I've been to Israel at least 14 times at the moment, going again, God willing, later this year. But in 2010, I had an email from the Jewish Institute of Justice that looks after a lot of Holocaust and ghetto victims. And they were saying about some of the work they did with them. And I emailed them and said, now, what is the greatest need that you have? And they said to me in reply, vitamins. As you can see on the table, these sort of things.
I thought you maybe were a drug dealer. I was on the drug squad, and when I saw you coming in with these, I got a bit concerned. But
No,
they're
they're
actually
genuine, bought over the shop counter. I found out since that paracetamols like that, 18 to 20 pence in the UK. I don't know the exact price in Israel, but I know from a Jewish source that they are very expensive.
Okay.
So in 2010, I put a load of stuff by and I stuffed my suitcase full, and we went back out in October, met our Christian contact out there and gave them the first load. Then we sent some more at the end of the year, and then we took another load in October 2011 in my suitcase, no problem with the customs or anything. Then we came up to April in 2012, end of the month, I had an email to say, we've run out.
Okay. And this
Can
is an email from this Jewish organisation who look
And it's
after how many Holocaust survivors and ghetto survivors do they care for?
They know that there's 200,000 at least in Israel at the moment.
And are they all in need of such things
Some
as these
are,
vitamins?
about
And
half of them are.
Okay.
That's about 100,000.
why would they need vitamins?
Because when they came out of the camps in 1945, most of them were absorbed into Eastern Europe when the communists took over Poland and Lithuania, Estonia and all those places. And having seen a little bit of the health services out there, unless you bribe the doctors, you don't get the treatment.
Okay.
And it's and when they live out in the villages miles and miles away from a doctor, they can't get there.
But in Israel, the Jewish community or surviving community of the Holocaust, are you saying that they are in need of vitamins?
Yes.
Because of?
Well, two things that the Israeli budgets, the biggest one is defence, the next one is education, and then everything else comes out of the rest of it.
Okay.
So if you read the newspapers, you'll see how much they have to defend themselves, and most of it goes on defence in the country. So there's not a lot of money left over,
Okay.
even though quite a few of them do get money from France, Holland and Germany as reparation for the wartime, but it's not enough.
Okay. Now, you're sending vitamins from the UK by post, and
Yep.
you're also taking some
Yep.
to this organisation in Israel in order that they can supplement the diets by
Yeah.
using these vitamins. So how can we help, John?
Well, people can get in touch with me. My email address will be on the screen later, and they can send me a donation. If you contact me on this email, I'll send you my address. You can send me a donation, or you can buy these different things in the supermarket and put them in the post to me, and I will send them on direct to Israel myself, or take them, whichever.
Okay, that's great. Well, what a great ministry, John, and I want to thank you for coming to talk to us about this
Yeah.
ministry. And I know you guys out there will want to help and be involved in this. So if you can help John get vitamins to the Holocaust survivors in Israel, they're much needed there. They're cheaper here than they are in Israel, and you can be a part of helping the Jewish people, and particularly Holocaust survivors, by contacting John through the email address on the screen and helping him. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming, John. It was a real blessing having you here. Thank you.
If you want it, he'll give it to you.
Yeah.
He's not going to force you.
Oh, no.
Now, I wanted it. I searched.
Yeah.
I called on the Lord. He took me to Devon in the end.
Yeah.
And I received it in Devon. I didn't receive it on because our part, they wouldn't let us in Glenmore. They warned me not to go to the city temple in Cardiff.